but there's nothing that is more sacred than the knowing of your spiritual journey.
It's about how too many choices can be such a major stressor for people.
Yeah. Right. Be mad about it. Give yourself the space. Start to almost cut off the responsibilities and open up the possibilities.
This is what I love. It's this sharing of the resources. And what you were saying about the busyness, I completely agree with you to a point. But what I find is that everyone will go through different stages of your life. So most people, by the time they get to 40, don't want to live the same lifestyle they were living when they were 20.
Right.
And, you know, when my children were really young, it was a very different set of priorities to now the fact that they're young adults and things. So what you as an individual need can be very, very different, the right here, right now. And I think it's so hard in today's work for people. I hate using that word, it's so hard. But, you know, with the social media, with the accessibilities, you've got all these choices. I did a show with some of my friends about how too many choices can be such a major stressor for people.
Yeah. Right. You have to start going within, and you have to start asking, what is my path? And don't compare your path to anyone else. Breathe in acceptance, breathe out expectation, you know, breathe in what you need, breathe out what you thought you needed. But it's hard to be free. I don't want to use the word hard either, but we have to start thinking of what would it feel like to be free. It's harder to let go than it is to do something. Surrender is where all the magic happens. But I remember when I started meditating, and I remember the agitation I would feel in the meditation. I got to get up. I just have too much on my to-do list. But it's in that surrender that you find yourself. It's in that surrender that you go into your intuition, and that you realize that that voice has been calling you the whole time, just like the animals.
So what are some of for you, because it sounds like you've been through quite a few transitions this year. So what are some of your key things that you've really learn, you know, for example, like, have you moved house recently then?
Well, I have two properties, and the one was sort of a guest home, and now I'm just kind of spending more time in it, like a sanctuary, like a temple. Like, this is where I do my work now. So it's more of an office or a spiritual place. And so when you create an intention for that space and it becomes a temple, now the things you bring in it are different. The things that are speaking to you are different. The creativity that flows through it is different. The energies, literally, is as if you could open a portal. Our body temples are a Tesla tower. That is the halo effect. When we start opening up into that 8th chakra, we start to get downloads. We start to get information. We start to realize there's so much light moving in and through us. You can do the same in the physical. So usually the physical is a representation of how you're treating your own body temple. You know, so anyone who's living alone. But when you have a family, which is, you know, my kids are just getting now older, so they want less and less to do with mom and dad. And so, you know, at 14 and, you know, at 13 and 14 right now, they're becoming much more interested in the influence of peers. So for me, it gives me a little separation. Whereas when they were 2 and 3, I wouldn't have had that choice to be able to adjust the energy. The energies in the house are just chaos, whether you like it or not. So then I was tuning into their laughter, you know, okay, how can I draw from the laughter of this energy? If you have roommates, you know, it's time to start maybe making just your bedroom your temple, you know, and to make that a sacred space, and know the importance of that sacred space and what you bring in it. Is it crystals? Is it, you know, animals? Is it art? What are you bringing in there that resonates, and why? And make it fluid. You know, really make it a fluid process. And those are where you're getting the clues too. So we talk a lot about, I've become much more aware of the printout. So again, what's guiding what, right? We talked about spirit's guiding soul, the mind, will, and emotion. Ultimately, spirit should be in the driver's seat, not the mind. Right? And that's a goal. Right? Because we're all on the path to learning how to do that and master that. There's a printout happening all the time. The numerology, the gematria, all that is a printout of what's going on in that body, soul, spirit, right? But that just gives us clues of what we're working on, you know, or where we are today. That's the observation. The DNA itself is the code. It has everything in it: the Akashic record, the scroll of destiny, your mantle, your spiritual mantle of what you came here to do. And there's a minimum and maximum potential within that DNA based on how we respond. But then the DNA prints out the cell, and then you end up with trillions of cells in your body, which prints out the body temple. But there's nothing that is more sacred than the knowing of your spiritual journey, of why we came here, and what our Akashic record is, our scroll of destiny is, so that we can come in alignment with that. Because when you come in alignment with that, that's when you enter into the true flow of your natural state.
Have you been incorporating trial and error into your journey for this? Because I think a lot of people, you know, I see a lot of people not wanting to start until they feel they've found their soul purpose. And what I've learned is you start and then it comes. It's a bit like build it and it will come. I mean, how have you found that journey for you?
Well, first you have to become aware of it. And then you have to realize how divine it is. Right? And everyone has such a beautiful plan and path. And there's no one that's better than the other. They're all equal. No matter how big or small, or how, you know, whatever your influence is, doesn't mean the path isn't beautiful. You've been given gifts by God, and his intention with giving those gifts was so that you could give those forward. And so I remember one time asking, and by the way, as we give those gifts forward, that is how we build our treasury in heaven. That's how we build our karma. So for me, first becoming aware of the mantle that I carry. How did I come aware of that mantle? It was sort of like, I looked at my body of work throughout my lifetime, what I chose to learn, who I chose to interact with, what were the lessons I was drawing in, which were the ones I learned from. Those were all preparing me for now. Think of, right, just for a minute, of all the mantle, the sheer mantle that Trump carries. Think of all the things he did in his lifetime to prepare him for what we just saw him go through.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Now that's just a big one. Not all of us carry a big spiritual mantle like him. You know, he's a King David or a Cyrus of this time, right? And so we can look upon that and draw inspiration. He found his, now I'm going to find mine. Right. And so when you find yours, it's really beautiful and it's divinely yours. And it actually, you'll find that it resonates with you in a way that lights up every time you get closer or get in that path or get back into alignment with that purpose. Right. So, and a lot of times I'm aligning myself with other people's purposes too. And I'm seeing theirs and I'm reminding them of how beautiful theirs is. So it's kind of like, let's say there's like 50 paths. But when you find your divine path, ooh, that's where the secret sauce is. You know, that's where you start to just feel like life gets easy. It gets simple. It gets fun. It gets divine. It gets like joyful. And that's the more joy you bring in. And then, you know, you got to learn to stop on the path and enjoy the surroundings here and there, or feel in the energy. Because if you don't, then you don't even receive it. Body's saying, go lay down and rest. Go lay down and rest. Exactly. Listen to your body. Don't stress about it. I mean, you almost have to shed the layers of guilt for doing it. I did that. For the last 9 years, I learned to self-heal, and you couldn't self-heal unless you took time, lots of time, for relaxation. And because the layers, they shed faster than you put them on. Believe it or not, you can shed, so you can work hard for 12 hours and take 1 hour of meditation in the middle of the day, and you can shed all of that, if not, and go centuries backwards. It's possible, you know, in letting go. I guess, and I shouldn't go that expansion. Let's stick to where people are today. You can start unwinding years of your life, years of attention. Think of yourself as a beautiful tree, and all the rings of the tree are the tension that in every year of your life, you had different circumstances. So there's a different type of ring. Just 1 hour a day, or even doing this meditation practice of consciously tuning in the mornings. So that's the best time. It's when you're most relaxed. Where am I going? Instead of feeling like you have to pop out of bed, wait till every single cell is ready to get out of bed. And don't hate yourself if you don't get out of bed till 12 noon. I'm talking noon. Don't be mad about it. Give yourself the space. Start to almost cut off the responsibilities and open up the possibilities.
And I would say, you know, both Michelle and I, we've both had, I mean, my children are just over a year apart as well. They're 21 and 20, no, 20 and 21 now. I get confused.
Yeah, me too, always.
By now. But the thing is also, what I would say is for those parents of young children at the moment as well, don't worry when you hear things like that. And so to say, well, of course I can't stay in bed 12, but there would be bits that you can do. So everyone's circumstances is my advice would be concentrate on what you can do, but also embrace that time of life. You know, when you move past that stage, now I can look back and I can say why people like you just don't want to wish any area of your life away. It's we're going through this life's journey, and every stage of your journey will be different, and it will have different ups and downs and different pressures and things. But
things get easier when you surrender. That's one thing you have to let people,
I
you have to
agree.
put that in. You think you're giving up hours of your day, but you're actually letting in possibilities in your life. You think, oh, you know, because the 3D matrix has conditioned us tightly. So even if you extend your, you know, meditation in the morning by 15 minutes, that 15 minutes will create all new openings. And then 30 minutes will create even bigger openings. And, you know, so when you know that that is a law, it's a law of the universe. It is a secret law. It's been kept from us for a long time, and you can start practicing it. I don't know the law. Maybe it's the law of expansion. Maybe this is how you teach the law of expansion. It's just flowing. I don't know. But the world's about to open up. So we have to learn how to expand. And you can't expand unless you create space for yourself to know how and where you want to expand to. Otherwise, you're just flying, you know, you're just you know, that thing, those advertisements out in front of the commercialized places where they're just flying around. It's like there's air blowing up into the, do you know what I'm talking about? Those flying things.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't want to be reactionary in my life. I want to be mindful. I want to be walking in sacred honor. I want to be on a sacred path, you know, and just that choice changes how I show up to every circumstance in my life.